So the Lord has given me an assignment. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Adenike here. It's a pleasure to be back on your screens, and I have something very exciting to share. This video is more of an announcement type of video rather than a video. So bear with me, it's going to be really quick. So before I make the announcement, I want to give a little bit of backstory. Y'all know I love a good story time. Sometime in March, earlier in March, we're having a beautiful fellowship at my pastor's house, and one of our choristers in church, she has such a beautiful, powerful voice, right? So I started to take note of her from last year, and I'm like, her voice is just like a well or pool of, I don't even know, you know, when they say rivers of living waters is dwelling in my good sis, right? Like for me, for my spirit, like there's just a depth. She took me for worship, and I just loved it. I was her fan, low-key, behind closed doors, and her and I were not that close. We used to say hello, hi. And then so when we started to fellowship, we used to have this like periodic fellowship at our pastor's house, and she happened to be one of the people he invited. I think that was the beginning of a relationship being fostered between us. I started to notice that I was drawn to her, you know, in a different way that I'm drawn to everyone that I like, right? But I kept thinking about it and wondering what it was, until one day, another day, we're at the fellowship in my pastor's house. There was a push that and that was not the first time. She always does something that pushes me in the spirit, right? And immediately I felt it that day. The Holy Spirit was just ministering to me that we will work together. That is the reason that there's a connection in our spirit. And I'm like, work together as out. But I didn't know what it was. Then the next time we were at the fellowship, same place, as we were worshiping and praying. So it was just highlighting her to me because he wanted me to know that was who he's speaking to do this thing that he wants me to start. I didn't understand it at the time. So the day he painted the picture and showed me everything, I was like, first of all, who are you talking to? Because me. So let me just break what it is. So the Lord has given me an assignment. This was an assignment that I thought very incapable to do. I did not understand why I was the one he chose. Yes, I love music. Yes, I'm musically inclined, but I can't sing to save my life. So he had said to me that you're going to lead a worship warfare YouTube live session. He gave me a name, he gave me a picture, and I know the YouTube live was quite specific. So I was like, okay, it didn't make sense because I'm like, worship me? I can't sing. That's what I love the most about God, because he's very intentional. He had put her before me for me to see her, take note of her, so that the time when he starts to tell me all these things, it won't feel too crazy. I would already be aware. So when he said it and he said, that's who he has given me to partner with me to do it, I was like, oh, amazing. I had registered it, but at the time I was going through something, you know, one of the biggest tests yet this year. The day he gave me the word, everything explicitly gave me the instructions for it, I had recorded it in a voice note and moved on with my life. I really couldn't see past what was in front of me at the moment. I was constantly stressed, and there was just no, what's the word I'm looking for? There was no rest, there was no balance, there was no settlements. That's the best way I could put it with what I was going through. So I'd forgotten totally about this assignment. Then, God in his ways of doing things, I was in the meeting with one of the prayer meetings I have with some of my brethren. We're in that meeting, and he had sent a word for me through one of my friends. And after my friend shared the word, so normally, yes, we can be in a meeting and he would have a word for me, and that would be that. But for some reason, that day after the meeting, he called me to follow up on the word. He was asking me questions like, oh, what do you think this means? The more he continued to question me, and my mind just opened to the worship assignment that God had set me to do. And I was like, I started to remember many words that followed after God gave me this assignment, right? And I know that God was preparing me for this moment, right? Because I was navigating, you know, the newness of the prophetic, and, you know, just becoming more firm and assertive in the spirit as a prophet. Timing was impeccable because God was leading back to remember that he had sent me something, but because of everything in front of me, I had forgotten. And it's very important that even while we're going through what we're going through, we don't neglect what God has called us to do. We don't neglect his assignments, because that can happen. For the past couple of months, it's almost like I've been walking in disobedience because I've been, you know, scrambling with this idea. How would these things be? Today I do the graphics, I do the video, I leave it again for a month. I've just been running around this assignment because I feel like largely because I felt, unqualified. I didn't know how it would work. I didn't feel prepared. With everything I was going through, I felt like my mind was not in the right place. But the time has come. I have decided that it is God that will do the work. It is not me. Because he saw multitudes of people that could sing before he called me to do a worship thing. He saw multiple people that could, that were pastors and were already, running their own ministries before he called me. And that's one thing about God. When you have grown and you've walked with him to a certain point, he will commission you to something. There's a destiny assignment attached to us. So we are not just there to be, I'm saved, I'm a Christian, I love Jesus. Yes, all those things are good, but it's like good for the beginning phases. And now that I've given more of a backstory, let's get into exactly what this assignment is. So yes, what is this so-called big assignment? The Lord has called me to lead a worship warfare session called the Warship Room. There's a clear war between light and darkness, and it's the part that stands and fight that would prevail. So I'm choosing to stand and fight, and I'm calling you to join me on this YouTube live session. It's called the Warship Room, and we are just going to worship. There's been a focus on worship here and there throughout this year, and I'm glad that God has called me to be a part of that in this capacity, right? There are many dimensions of worship that I've come to learn. You can use worship to love on your Father. You can use worship as thanksgiving. You can use worship to, to build intimacy. You can use worship to get rid of fear, worry. I want us to note that worship plays a key role in spiritual warfare. When you're worshiping undiluted, raw before your Father, breakthroughs take place, transformations take place, healing takes place, repositioning takes place. I love that this is towards the warfare part because it means that we have a direction, and we know that the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. The weapon we have right now for this is our worship, and we are just going to bring it to pull down those mighty strongholds, to pull down the plans and the devices of the enemy that has been stacked up against us. We are going to use worship as a tool to bring those things to nothing. And the thing is, worship is such an effective tool because it confuses the enemy. They don't know what to do in that place. Something about worship that just takes you flight through the spirit that the enemy can't comprehend. So this just brings me to the wall of Jericho's story. We all know that story, right? The Lord could have pulled down the wall of Jericho by just asking Joshua or anyone to stamp their feet. But he told them, go around 7 times, marching, obedient to what the Lord has said. We want to pull down a strong wall. Why are we not carrying bulldozers to bulldoze this wall? You are telling us to march, but they obeyed and they worshipped. The worship was present. Their voice was heard in heaven. And that wall came down to smithereens. And that is how we are going to position. I'm trusting that God is going to move mightily. He's going to do things far beyond what we could think or even imagine. Even I myself, I'm looking forward to it because I don't really know anything else other than this is what he has called me to do. I'm just a vessel. This one is to look darkness in the face and tell it, you will not take me. Nothing that God has given me will die. Everything that God has written concerning me, I will fulfill. This one, we are coming to fight for our destinies. We are coming to fight for health. We are coming to fight for Nigeria. We are coming to fight for everything that the Lord has positioned. Coming to fight that the kingdom will come. We are coming to fight that the knowledge of Christ will be formed in his children, that they will not relegate to the back. They will come to the front and be bold, like the agents of the enemy, how they are bold and they are standing. We will come and we will stand, we will speak unshaken, unmoved. We're just going to travel in the spirit and allow the Lord lead us. A lot of us have promises hanging over our heads. The timelines are passing. People are coming and testifying, and you're wondering, when is it my turn? Child of God, you have to fight. Matthew 11 verse 12 says, the kingdom of heaven suffers violence, but the violent take it by force. God has given you this word. God has said something to you. God has said this is the year that my glory will be revealed through you. And right now it's not really looking like it. This is the time to come into the worship room and fight. That is what the worship room is about. And I will be leading that charge alongside my sister, Minister Ose. I wish she was here with me right now, but you get to meet her real soon. She's blessed, she's anointed, and I'm so glad that God chose us to walk this path together. It will be a beautiful moment, and I can't wait to see how God would steer us in this first edition. So the worship room experience will be a monthly, for now, it will be a monthly recurring program. So be prepared. Every month we'll be having the worship room experience. So yeah, that is the big announcement, and that is the assignment that the Lord has called all of us. I'm adding you guys to it. So join whatever that thing is. Bring it before God and let's us go. Our worship is our weapon, and this is how we win. Tell everyone that might want to be a part of this. Send them the links, send them this video, let them be a part of it. So to stay abreast of everything and every development with this, subscribe to this channel, turn on the post notifications so you know when the video goes up or when we are going live. Date for the first edition of the Warship Room experience will be the 24th of August 2024. You don't want to miss it. So with that being said, God bless you. Thank you for taking time out to watch this video, and I'm looking forward to seeing you on that day. Stay tuned to my Instagram page, Adenike_Diana, so you can see more and anticipate what is to come. All right. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe on your way out, like this video, share to who needs to be a part of this. I can't wait for that day to come. See you soon. God bless you. Shalom.